So basically, the big topic of conversation over the past couple of days has been the survival game Palworld, which many people have dubbed the Pokemon with Guns game. So basically, it incorporates a lot of different elements of games like Pokemon. I'll let this trailer play in the background. And basically, it's exactly what it sounds like. Pokemon, but adding guns. And it's been a huge success. Okay, everyone's talking about this right now. I haven't seen hype around a game like this in quite some time. And of course, with the hype comes things like controversy. And a lot of people have really made this a polarizing experience. Basically, if you support this game, you're literally the worst human being ever, and the developers of this are the worst people ever, and they're plagiarizing, and they're stealing things, and so on and so forth. But at the end of the day, a lot of the claims about the supposed bad things that these developers are doing don't really amount to much. And it's just a bunch of accusations with a lot of far-reaching statements that don't have a lot of proof. And at the end of the day, I think even if some of the things the developers are being accused of are true, I think most players aren't going to care. And that's my honest opinion. That's my hot take. And a lot of people might be angry about that, but I'm just saying the truth. A lot of players don't care if there's things like AI or reused designs or something like that. Palworld Discourse, I didn't get hired to make a copycat Pokemon, so I'm going to spread BS that they used AI. Exactly. A lot of Pokemon fanboys are very upset about that, but you can see it looks very good, you know, for something that's being heralded as like the worst, laziest game ever. It looks pretty decent, okay? And really, the success can't be undersold. So even yesterday, I made a video about this topic, and they're at 4 million copies sold. They have now surpassed 5 million copies sold in only 3 days. I can't undersell how big of a deal that is, okay? And of course, you know, it's cheaper than the regular Pokemon title, but hey, for an indie company like this, they really took a risk that a lot of people haven't, and they challenged Pokemon really boldly, and they're doing well. And like I'll talk about later, part of the problem here is that Pokemon and Game Freak are just not likable. Nobody sympathizes with them because they're not releasing good titles. And they're making a lot of really bad games over the past couple of years. So when there's something that is catering to the wants and needs of players, people are just going to gravitate towards it. And that's really all there is to it. Now, I've been seeing this meme going around. This is really what's going on here. I originally, when I made my video yesterday, I was doing a lot of research on this stuff, and I'm like, okay, there's some claims that there's AI and some stolen models and plagiarized things like that. I was trying to keep an open mind, okay? Try to play like the middleman and basically talk about both sides, okay? But it became increasingly clear, and especially over the past 24 hours, that it seems like the people who are attacking this game the most are just coping. They're either Pokemon fans or something like that, and they're just really angry at this game for succeeding so well, and in the face of companies like Pokemon and Game Freak. Okay, so yeah, leave the multi-billion-dollar company alone. That's the kind of advanced level of simping we've been seeing, okay? Yo, and what's good, King Weeb? Welcome back, dude. Now, we've seen this defense of Pokemon and Nintendo and alike go far beyond any sort of reasonable criticism, okay? It goes beyond it. So here's an article citing some concerns coming from the Palworld team saying, currently, we are receiving slanderous comments against our artists, and we're seeing tweets that appear to be death threats. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, when you challenge something like Pokemon, you're gonna end up with death threats for some reason. Again, even if everything they're being accused of is true, if they're using AI, they're ripping off Pokemon and doing all these things, is that really a life or death situation? Is that something that warrants threats against somebody's lives? Is it that important in the grand scheme of everything going on in the world? Yeah, death threats, that's too far. Exactly. Aren't they also the people bashing people for playing/supporting said billion-dollar company? I've been seeing a lot of people also comparing this to Hogwarts Legacy, which is really funny So they're saying, like, basically, like, as I said with Hogwarts Legacy, if you support this game, I can no longer associate with you, which is kind of funny because they're associating Hogwarts Legacy and the backlash associated with that with using basically heavily influenced assets in a game, which kind of defeats their own message, right? Pretty crazy stuff, but let's continue. The main focus on a lot of this stuff, and it's coming from people like journalists, for example, they are highlighting alleged concerns about plagiarism of designs from Pokemon and also the use of generative AI tools. And DGen, thank you so much for the big tier 1 for 26 months. Yo, I appreciate the continued support, my man. Thank you, thank you. You are too kind, my good sir. Hope you're doing well. And that's 3 subs on the day, 3 out of 1. Bew. It's 300% of the daily sub goal now achieved. And everyone say hello to Straub, who is feeling better today. She actually made a YouTube video. She's been dealing with a stomach bug. My poor wife, but she's feeling better. Everyone say how proud you are of her for pushing through the illness and not feeling good. It's been a tough couple days for her. But yeah, these are the allegations and the accusations being launched against Palworld. Now, pretty serious stuff. Plagiarism, big deal. As well as accusations of them using AI. This is very important, very serious stuff. But where is the proof? You know, Twitter will jump on these threads. There's threads saying, oh, they're using AI, they're plagiarizing. They got tens of thousands of likes. But people are saying, hey, what's the proof? There's not very much, right? And we're going to look into that now. Yo, and Darling Gala T, thank you so much for the tier 1 for 4 months saying, hi, Straub. Hope you're doing well. That's the important question. Forget about me. Make sure my wife is okay. She's the important one in this equation. I appreciate the resub. Thank you. So, I've seen a lot of threads like this. This is one of the threads that everyone's talking about, right? So, it says that they went through the entire list of pals, basically the Pokedex of Palworld, right? To see what they look like and if this is truly a ripoff. And a lot of people have been using this as proof, definitive proof, that this game is plagiarizing, stealing from Nintendo, not getting a heavy reference from, nothing like that. Legitimate stealing. Now you can see, let me just raise a point here before we actually do anything. You see characters like this, a sheep-themed pal from this game. Does Nintendo own the likeness of sheep? Are they not allowed to make characters based on real-life sheep? What is going on? And you go through the thread, and they give examples like this. Now, no offense, ladies and gentlemen, this is the PAL, and this is the Pokemon it's supposedly inspired by. I'm sorry, number one, this looks like an upgrade. The one on the left looks like an upgrade. Now, as I always say, again and again, with this topic, are these pals heavily influenced by Pokemon? Yes. Is the design or the development of these pals maybe a bit lazy? Maybe. I'm not a developer, but maybe it's a bit lazy. But do those two things, being heavily referenced and lazy, does that make something plagiarism? Does that make something AI generated? No, it doesn't. And a lot of people are using this thread as proof that this whole thing is a scam. They should be hit with a lawsuit. And yet this OP will later admit that this is not proof of plagiarism or anything like that. But we see a lot of threads like this. And I saw, other users pointing out that, I'm sorry, but if so many of your accusations of plagiarism hinge on Game Freak apparently being the sole owner of concepts like Penguin, I'm not taking them seriously. And that's so true. What about Digimon? Yeah, of course they ignore stuff like that, right? Digimon, who cares? Right? Digimon and Pokemon have been battling, and there's been people trying to say that one is copying the other forever, and yet they still both exist. And there's a reason for that, because it's not plagiarism, it's being heavily influenced by one another. But people are just mad. Exactly. People are just mad. And they're looking for a reason to attack this game and its developers. And the whole thing is just really ridiculous. And like I said, when I made my video yesterday, initially I'm like, maybe there's some way because there's so many threads calling them out. But then as I keep going deeper, and especially since I made my video live yesterday, it's becoming very clear this is just all jealousy and anger being directed towards the developers of this game. And Anonymous, Anon, thank you for gifting out a sub to DailyChan. Congrats on that. Do you ever get tired of dealing with idiots on Twitter? Listen, you gotta look at it in like a way of their entertainment, okay? You're making fun of them for entertainment, and it's like observing. You ever heard of people watching? You go to like some public place and you watch like freakish people for your own entertainment. That's how I view Twitter, okay? I'm just sitting there pointing and laughing and observing ridiculous human behavior and using it for my own gain, basically. And welcome to the stream, by the way. Zami, welcome back. Yes, and Hype Train. Guys, can we get a level 5,000 Hype Train? If we get a level 5,000 Hype Train, I will buy Palworld right now. That's a guarantee. That's a rev guarantee right there. But let's move on to this right here. So I actually covered this in my previous video. So this is, again, more proof that these are acts of plagiarism. Okay? And this tweet is captioned, "This game may end up being the biggest factor in regulation of generative AI for games if Nintendo gets involved." The fact that Nintendo hasn't gotten involved already is telling a lot of things. And what I'm going to say here is that this game is different than other examples of Nintendo taking down games that are trying to incorporate Pokemon elements. Like the fan games, for example. Those games go down because not only are they taking inspiration from Pokemon, they are trying to replicate Pokemon. Their identity is Pokemon. That's the big difference here. And this game, Palworld, is something very, very different. Yeah, but Twitter is like people watching in a mental institution with no bars. Yeah, the inmates have taken over the prison. That's the way Twitter is, okay? You can point and laugh, but the mentally ill are the majority. That's the problem, okay? But yesterday also featured a post from this individual who's an actual lawyer. See, have you noticed that a lot of the claims about plagiarism and copyright infringement, they've all been made by Twitter user number 10,000. I don't really know if they have any bearing on copyright law and things like that, but I would trust a lawyer more than these people, and this is what this person had to say. "Anybody can sue anyone for any reason, so I can't tell you what Nintendo will or won't do about Palworld. I can tell you, however, that they'd have a tough time winning on any infringement claim that isn't arguing a direct design copy." Now down here, they continue and say, "The game itself is a Minecraft, Zelda, Monster Hunter mashup unlike anything Pokemon has put forth, so there's no winning there. The PAL designs have elements that are similar to Pokemon, but even though they fly a bit too close to the sun for my taste, that's really a hard case to win. Nintendo would be better served seeing what elements of the game might fit its own brand." And that is really the best takeaway from all of this. If Nintendo wants to do anything, they should take a lesson from this and see what so many people are excited about with Palworld and say, hey, maybe we should incorporate that in our titles. Maybe we should try a little bit harder because an indie developer just put us to shame in only a few days. And this whole part about it being a mashup of games, which makes it hard for a sort of lawsuit against Palworld, like I said in my video, what do you associate Palworld with? It's not just Pokemon, it's Pokemon with what? Pokemon with guns. Violent themes. Violent themes are not a part of Game Freak or any sort of related Pokemon title through them. That already makes it very separate. And if you look at the gameplay, it's nothing like Pokemon. They might have some Pokemon resembling characters running around the world and things like that, but it is not a direct copy pasta. It's not trying to be Pokemon 2.0, and that's important. And we already talked about the designs. They're close, but they are different in many sorts of ways. But yeah. Let's move on here. Some more claims, this time about the AI. A lot of people are claiming that basically the brunt of this game is AI generated. And again, as you might guess, there's no proof of any of that. So let's read this. Palworld's overwhelming success is the first step in the normalization of generative AI slop games, which is really, really depressing. 10 years ago, an asset flip game like this would have been relentlessly ridiculed. And then in the reply, they say, FYI, there are no rules or regulations with AI. There is no law requiring its use be divulged. It is entirely possible to use AI and then hide it well enough that no one would ever know. And that is a future rapidly approaching, where they get community noted, as always, saying this is false. Steam requires games to disclose when they contain AI-generated content. And guess what, guys? Guess what? Shocking, I know. This game does not have AI, according to Steam. And these people, like, this tweet was made a day ago, well over 24 hours ago, and they're still leaving it up. They're so dedicated to spreading misinformation about this game to try to knock it down a peg. They won't admit defeat. It's so embarrassing. It's actually really, really sad. And this whole part about, it's normalizing this stuff. They have no proof. They have literally no proof. W community notes, exactly. And as users like this have pointed out, everyone's talking about, oh, it's AI generated. This game came out of nowhere. Oh, they made this whole thing overnight. There was a trailer for this game that was released back in 2021 that contained a lot of the assets and characters that we're seeing again upon the game's release. All of this is just a bunch of BS. And as I covered in the video, the proof of this AI content, the only proof is that the developer of the game has acknowledged AI and that it's hard to sometimes differentiate between AI and real things. For example, a post where they shared someone else's creation of AI-inspired Pokemon characters and said, hey, it's hard to tell between the AI and the real Pokemon. That's all they did. That's the proof that there's AI in this game, and the tweet has tens of thousands of likes. Nobody questions anything anymore. It's so sad. But this has been the real attitude. I love this meme right here. So people are saying, you're just a cheap effing knockoff. And this is Pokemon. And then Palworld responds saying, oh, no. I'm the upgrade. Now this is really the opinion of a lot of people. Okay, there's plenty of people who have an issue with Palworld or maybe don't enjoy it, but they're the minority. Okay, you don't sell 5 million copies in 3 days under a fluke. Okay? And clearly a lot of people enjoy it, and the upgrade component is really just acknowledging something new. The formula with Pokemon is old, and Palworld introduced new things. You can say fuck Rev, that's right. Well, okay. Part of it, I'm used to talking on YouTube. I censor myself all the time. This might be a VOD. Actually, this is definitely going to be a VOD for the second channel. And if you haven't already subscribed to the alt channel, !alt, follow that link. But yeah, I'm trying to make more videos, and I'm talking a little more direct here. But yes, say hello to YouTube. And make sure to sub now. That's the best time to do it. You'll end up in a video. That's eternal glory right there. That's a big thing. But yeah, Pokemon has become stale and lazy. Exactly. That's what a lot of people think. Way off topic, but would you consider doing a cover of Lollygod Requiem? Oh God, I actually was looking at that today because I was looking at some designs for some merch, and I was thinking maybe that'd be some inspo, but I don't know if I'm really that lolly enough to pull that whole aesthetic off. But maybe like chat, you don't have to get me like drunk or something to do a cover of Lollygod Requiem, okay? Rev is too tall. Unironically, a little bit too tall. Yes. But let's move on to some more tweets. So the hatred of this game is becoming very clear that it has a lot more to do with people just being upset about its success. So this tweet with a couple hundred likes says, back in the 90s, I would have never guessed a top-selling game in 2024 would look this bad. PlayStation fans, you are not missing out. Have you ever seen copium like this before? Good God. Like, they're crying about this game. I'll mute this. But like, dude, I'm sorry. At the end of the day, people don't really care about graphics and the quality of it as long as the game is entertaining. I will say this now, as I did before. The average person does not care about all these intrinsic values as long as the game is good. And despite what my wife is trying to say about graphics, why do you people think classic World of Warcraft is so popular to this day when it looks like it runs on a calculator? Okay? People like a good game. Good game is better than graphics. Exactly, dude. It's just the way most people are. Of course, everyone has their preferences, but at the end of the day, people want a good, engaging game. And that's what a lot of people think about Palworld. Okay? Simple as that. But of course, the worst timing ever, when everyone's jumping on board with the Palworld hype train, Nintendo decided to make a tweet. Now, was this a very unfortunately timed, scheduled tweet? You'll never know. We'll never know. Did an intern fuck up or something? We don't know. But Nintendo of America made this tweet yesterday saying, "Did you catch that? Explore some hidden details within." Let's give this a peek. So they're testing out some aspects of their game, really trying to show off what they got. And you know, referring back to the last person who complained about graphics, is this better? Is this what's supposed to be better? I don't really think so, but just the timing of this was so bad, and it's only making them look even more out of touch with what's going on with the Palworld situation and everything related to it. It's not very good. Yeah, where's the guns, Nintendo? What's going on? If they wanted to make a statement, they would release a trailer like this with some guns and say, hey, we've noticed. We know what's going on. But yeah, that was a bad timing of a tweet. But here's this. I thought this was funny too. So people have already made Palworld Pokemon mods. So at this point, ladies and gentlemen, it's Jover. It's literally Jover. What else do you need? If you're a Pokemon player and you like the actual designs, here they are. This is not plagiarism anymore. We have the straight up in-game models right here. It was that easy for people. Misty with a gun, very, very exciting stuff, I have to say. Oh yeah. God bless the modding community. God bless the modding community. You guys are the best. They are fast, okay? They are very skilled and they're very fast. That's right. Now we need a Monster Girl Quest mod. True. A lot of people would look forward to that. But this is exciting times for a lot of gamers, and this Palworld is doing really, really well, and it's challenging a lot of things that people have been. I guess the better way of saying it's challenging the status quo of Nintendo and Game Freak Pokemon releases that have been doing the same thing over and over again for a long time and expecting you to just keep paying, you know, $60, $70 for a release. And here you have Palworld doing something much, much better. But yeah, that's really the update. I wanted to share that with you guys because I thought it was very interesting and a big set of updates and more copium coming from this side of the internet where people are complaining about Palworld. And yeah, it's a bit of an update, and it's been very interesting, and I'm glad you guys seem to be on board with a lot of the points I'm trying to make here, and it's good to see. But yeah, I appreciate you guys listening to this, and that's really going to do it for the Palworld talk of this stream.